Hey guys, I am just posting the link to this live stream across my other social media platforms. Give me 1 second today. Happy Father's Day. Today we are doing a Father's Day live for everybody, but it's dedicated to the fathers. And yeah, I'm excited because I'm going to be pulling cards from this deck, and we're going to be receiving messages from this deck, the Tarot of the Orishas, and can't wait to see what messages pop up. Just bear with me 1 second as I post this, as I post these across my social media platforms. Rocky Writer Shop. If you're not following me on Twitter, on Threads, on Instagram, do feel free on X, feel free to follow your girl. Let's see, Father's Day. Father's Day reading from the Tarot of the Orishas. Okay, let's get into this. So basically, I'm gonna just do I'm gonna do a quick reading. It's not gonna be too long. This deck is a deck that is based off of the Orishas, which is basically like the gods and goddesses of the Yoruba religion. And this deck corresponds to the traditional tarot deck, but I was looking at it today. I was looking through the guidebook, I was looking at the cards today, and basically it is basically it is correspondent to the traditional tarot deck, but it's also unique. I would say the creators and the illustrators of this deck did a beautiful, beautiful, beautiful job at just like really going into details about everything. So for example, like the suits are not like pentacles and cups and all of that. The suits are the four elements, so earth, wind, fire, and water. And the major arcana are based on the gods and goddesses. For the most part, it's based on the gods and goddesses it's based on the Orishas. And what I'm gonna do today is I'm gonna do a traditional Celtic spread. And then if the cards come out and they're basically from the minor arcana, so that's gonna be like the earth, wind, fire, the regular suits, then I'll just read the meaning. I'm gonna read the meaning straight from the book, and I'll just read the shortened version of each card. But if one of the Orishas come out, or one of the major arcana, then we're gonna have like a whole Orisha study, and we're gonna go into what exactly specifically the guidebook is saying that Orisha represents. the energies and the lessons and the principles that that particular Orisha represents. So that's what we're going to do. For those who are unfamiliar with the traditional Celtic card spread, it's only 9 cards, and so that gives us the opportunity, if there are a lot of, so far we have one Orisha card. If there are a lot of Orisha cards, it gives us the opportunity to basically go in depth about that particular deity, because that's too many, because it's only 9 cards we're pulling today. And also, this reading is for everyone. I don't want you to feel like this isn't for you. It doesn't matter who you are. If you happen to stumble across this stream or the replay, please feel very welcome here. Feel very welcome. Welcome to Rocky Writer Shop. Welcome to my channel. I love everybody. I love you all. I love everybody. So let's get into this reading today. I'm just going to pull 4 more cards. So happy Father's Day, everyone. Hope you and your families are having a great day. So far we only have 1 Orisha card, and actually that's great. Oh, I spoke too soon. So we have 2 of the Orishas have come out in this spread today on Father's Day. We have female Ishu, and we have another one. We have Shango, and we have Oba. So we're going to again, this is going to be Orishas 101. So if you're like an expert, you've been a part of this spirituality for a long time, then this is for you too, because you can interpret these messages very deeply. But also, if you're not, the book makes it for all levels, the guidebook. So let's start again. So we have the traditional Celtic cross spread. So what we're going to do is we're basically going to talk about where you are now. Take this personally, or you can take this collectively. You can take this for your family. You can take this however it resonates for you personally. This is a general reading, so take this as it resonates personally for you and for yours. So we're going to start talking about basically where you are now. We have what is that? 9 of air. So that fell upside down. And then we are going to talk about what could be causing opposition in your life right now. We have the 3 of earth, and that also fell in reverse, fell upside down. We're going to talk about where you are feeling, where you could be feeling very stable and secure, what could be holding you up, and what you have accomplished that could be a strong foundation for you right now. And we have the air element. The air element basically represents, your intelligence and your thoughts and your ability to communicate. We have basically what is crowning you, what you have to look forward to, what you have to basically push you forward in life, or what you can expect to accomplish because of your strong foundation. We have the 7 of fire. Then we have the female issue. She fell out in the position of your past. And then I'm going to go through all these cards again. I'm going to show you them closer, and I'm also going to read the descriptions in the book. In your future, in the position of your future, what you can expect in the future, we have the 7 of earth. Where you are basically like a summary of your standing right now, because of like all things considered. We have the Ace of Air, Again, the air element basically represents your thoughts. And then we have Shango falling in the position of your outside elements that could be affecting you. And then we have Oba falling in the position of either your hopes or your fears. And then we have the earth um, standing, which fell in the position of your final outcome. So let's start with this. We have the first card, we have the Nine of Air. And I'm just going to show you the card. So this fell under the position. Again, take this generally. This is a general message, but take the messages as they resonate personally for you. And yeah, so this is the Nine of Air card that we have. And it says the upright meaning means worries, suffering, pressures, and underlying dangers. Somebody wants something that belongs to us, maybe predators, some illness, risk of death. The Nine of Air represents hunting and chasing time has begun, and we can see the barrels of nine rifles. They're aiming at a bird which is flying desperately. It's trying to hide among trees and bushes. So the Nine of Air card is correspondent to the Nine of Swords card in the traditional tarot deck. It speaks to sadness, it speaks to depression, it speaks to fear, it speaks to being scared, it speaks to grief, it speaks to really feeling terrorized and depressed and sad. And so in this particular deck, it speaks of these emotions coming from being hunted and being basically like a victim, basically being, it's comparable to basically a hunter trying to shoot a bird. And so whereas we may interpret depression as, well, I'm depressed because of my job, my school, this deck is depicting it as these things hunting us and these things basically attacking our mental state, our emotional being, and we're keeping us from being able to thrive in joy and love and peace and all the things we want to thrive in. So what is opposing, what could be possibly bringing this opposition in our life? We have the Three of Earth card, and this fell in the reverse position. I'm going to just show it to you here. We have the Three of Earth card. Let me just get it. The Three of Earth card, this is going to be correspondent to the Three of Pentacles in the traditional tarot deck. In the traditional tarot deck, the Three of Earth card represents, you know, like, again, strong foundations and things of that nature. So here we have the card. And when it falls upside down, it means selfishness, cynicism, totalitarianism. In some, it represents ignorance and obstinacy, disunion of efforts, and lack of collaboration. I'm gonna still read this whole what the Three of Earth represents. It says, this card shows animals standing firmly and securely. The bones of their legs bear all their skeletal structures in spite of their great size and height. One of the giraffes prefers to be in the service of its two companions, a Virgo characteristic, helping to pick the fruit, knowing that prudence, Capricorn, will keep them alive, and considering after a careful analysis, Virgo, that each jointly with the others will be favored by their mutual help. So that's a Taurus element. A very long neck, an area governed by Taurus, makes them haughty, elegant, and harmonious. Venus and Saturn acting in close relationship. In some, the trilogy of the earth elements, Venus, Virgo, Capricorn, and Taurus. So basically, when this card is in reverse, which it fell in reverse, it represents not working in harmony. It represents not working together. And then basically it represents selfishness. Again, it represents cynicism, maybe having a bad outlook on things, totalitarianism, ignorance and obstinacy, disunion of efforts, and lack of collaboration. So we have depression, and this literally is saying, these two cards together are literally saying that we are divided. We are not, we are divided. We are victims. We are challenged. We are basically taxes and government and all the things that are really the root of depression, if we really talk about it, is a result of lack of collaboration, lack of unity, lack of harmony, selfishness, individualism instead of working together. What fell under the position of your foundation? What could be holding you up right now? We have the air element card. Let me get it in the book first. The air element card. When I talk a lot, like my yeah, okay, we got the air element card. I gotta like slow down. But yeah, we have the air element card. And this fell under what your strengths are right now, what you could possibly rely on right now, what is foundationally keeping you up right now. It says the meaning of this card is the oxygenating feature of the air and its glorifying essence. Take into account the dates governing the three signs under this element, which is Gemini, Libra, Aquarius. Characteristics equals intellectuality. Um, this says Anaximenes claimed that the air was the origin of all things. It insufflates life into humanity and into everything that exists. Air is a masculine and active element. This element corresponds to three astrological zodiac signs: Gemini, which is a mutable sign; Libra, which is a cardinal sign; and Aquarius, which is a fixed sign. Characteristics of this air element that could be foundationally holding you up right now is intellect, expansibility, lyricism, the ability to communicate in a situation of association and brotherhood. So the cards are saying that you have potential right now to basically unite with people or communicate with people or link your strengths with people using your intellect. If you combine your intellect with others, or if you combine your wisdom, your words, if you converse, if you communicate with others, you have potential in your environment to unify using this earth element. We have the earth elements are ruled by the signs that are earth elements are Gemini, Libra, Aquarius. So applying those Gemini, Libra, Aquarius qualities to communicating, and to Aquarius represents friendship, it represents moving forward, it represents rebellion. So applying those elements to your network and to your circle can really help you right now. So what is holding you up, or excuse me, what can you expect if you apply that air element, if you apply that air element advice to your life? What can you expect? Let's get it from the book. We have this, what is that? Seven of Fire. Seven of Fire. I'm trying to find okay, I found it. Alright, so we have the Seven of Fire. This fell in the upright position. So in general, the card is a flying dragon that's spitting 7 flames on the earth. A man protects himself with a large shield from the bloody attack. So the upright meaning of this card is bravery, dexterity, and courage in facing trouble. Quick thinking and skill in action. You are clever in business or commercial matters and will take preventative and defensive measures against competition and rivalry in your field. You'll gamble with opportunities and plan and consider defensive strategies, but not be offensive to others. You will take into account public opinion, internal and external audiences, the environment, and the media. Your actions will be carefully protected and profitable in the long term. This is a beautiful message between like connecting with people, and then that connection basically building a wise and effective wall of defense. So that's beautiful. So we're going to get into our first Orisha now. So we have the female issue. I'm just going to show it to you here because I'm not going to be able to hold this up for as long as I'm reading the long description about who the female issue is. She fell in the position of your past. She fell in the position of your past. So just take that in mind. Keep that in mind. She fell in the position of your past. I do want to get. Okay, here she is. Here it is. So, there's no correspondence to her in the traditional tarot deck. That's what the guidebook says. It literally says no correspondence. And then here we have, just give me a second to find her issue. Just bear with me 1 second. Okay. So, Pamba Gira is the feminine version of Ishu. That is to say, I want to try to hold it up. Should I? Okay. That is to say, I'm going to just hold it until I get tired. That is to say, she is the female Ishu and has the same characteristics as the male Ishu, but the latter's masculine features are replaced by those which are specific to the feminine gender. She is delicate, sensual, loves beauty, and so on. Again, the name is Pamba Gira. Although the gypsy has been chosen as a representative of all aspects of Pamba Gira, it must be clarified that she is known by several names such as Maria Padilla, Maria Mulambo, Maria of the Seven Crossroads, etc. The Pamba Gira also acts as intermediary. The Pamba Gira also act as intermediaries between the Orishas and humanity. They are the great magicians of love and are turned to in hope of recovering a lost love or to find and consolidate a new romantic relationship. Cheerful, lively, and extremely seductive, they charm at sight. Upon arrival on the earth, they burst into musical laughter like a shout of freedom and happiness. On the card, we can see her dancing with grace and talent, showing that music is in a manner of speaking inside her. She's clad in colorful clothes, her own clothes, and wears some costume jewelry with a red carnation tangled in the hair. She holds a small tambourine in one hand with which she punctuates her continual movements. A flower heart sets the background against which we see her in all her beauty. I chose pink for the background, they are saying, because of its harmonizing characteristics. The entire setting is one of quietness and gaiety. So, the meaning of this card is parties, weddings, festivities, celebrations in general, shared happiness and surprises, beginning of a courtship, engagement, or marriage, falling in love, seduction, chance, and intuition, prizes and gifts. Good luck is on your side. Badly. Okay, that's saying if it was in reverse, so it's not in reverse. Okay, so I'm just gonna interject here. So with these two cards, we have, if the cards are saying that you have potential with this earth element card here, you have potential within your community. This is basically saying the same thing. We have this air element, which represents Libra, Gemini, Aquarius energies, community, conversation, talking, friendship, using your justice with the Libra element, using your abilities, your friendship circles, your network in order to rebel and in order to progress, in order to move forward. But it also talks about in your past with this female Ishu card, the Pamba Gira, that you have this friendship available to you that is not just like work, or that's not just like, let's fight the power, which this card is representing the Seven of Fire that we spoke about. It's also saying that this can all be fun, that you have like a network of people that is almost like a people you've celebrated with or people you do celebrate with, because this is, it fell in the past position. So people, again, the card means like weddings, parties, festivities, people that, it represents falling in love, it represents seduction, maybe people that you're attracted to, drawn to, it represents chance, it represents intuition, prizes and gifts, good luck on being on your side. So it represents basically like good harmony in relationships that you either have had in the past or that you have, from your past. So that was the first, Orisha that we got. In the position of your future, we have the Seven of Earth. This is the, what is that? The second Earth element card we got. The Earth element corresponds to the Pentacles suit in tarot, in traditional tarot. Let's see what we have. We have the Seven of Earth, and and I forgot to mention, this deck is also very heavy on numerology. This is the second seven that we got. This is the Seven of Earth. It represents time for harvesting. It represents time for harvesting and checking what you have sown to verify that the palm has been faithful by giving its fruits prodigally, as loyal and helpful as humanity has been to its environment. A person that does not speculate but who shares and expects the same from his own group. So the Seven of Earth represents, the card is like a man. He climbs the seventh palm after considering that since it is the tallest or best seen from his viewpoint, it has more fruit. They will not be for him, but will be shared with others. The fecund and fertile land by nature will not disappoint him, but will allow him to enjoy its riches, and its love will be reflected in what it will give him. So, wow. So you have someone who's basically climbing a tree to, he saw that this tree was like the most fruitful tree, so he wanted to climb this tree, and then he wanted to basically share these share this fruit with his community, not just for him, but maybe his family, with those who are around him. So again, it represents harvesting, loyalty, being helpful to humanity. And again, this represents, this fell in the position of your future. So if you're, hello there, hi. So if you utilize this energy from your past, this female issue energy that we got in the past position, that represents basically partying and friendship and happiness and joy. If you utilize that energy, there can be a lot of basically people loving or giving to each other, shared community, shared resources, shared, blessings. I'm loving these messages today. Okay, so we got finished with the spread, and now we're just gonna look at our staff and our final messages here. On the side right here, we have the Ace of Air. So basically your current standing. This fell in the upright position. So the card is a dove, which opens its wings as a protective mantle over humanity. A crystalline figure representing the pure and virginal state in which a human being comes into this world, a symbol of the Holy Spirit. It means you have a duty and you have a duty and carry a message of peace, the result of which will be successful, reappraising your efforts and encompassing everything. Nothing should be left to chance because nothing's accidental. It is a victory of love over human mediocrity, a triumph of the spirit, high artistic value and inspiration. And this is basically a summary of where you can say, or you can, based on what the card is, the spread is saying, this is a summary of where you can say that you are now. We've got another Orisha card here. We got Shango. So I'm just going to get, let's see. So Shango, let me see. Shango in this deck, where is it? It represents the Justice card. Very cool. Very, very, very. So in traditional tarot, the Justice card represents exactly what it sounds like. It represents justice. It represents wrongs being made right. The Justice card is ruled by the sign Libra. I'm not 100% certain if this card is ruled or if Shango is ruled by the sign Libra, but I do know the Justice card in tarot is ruled by the sign Libra. So as you can see, the card is a large man of strong build sitting on a huge rock in the lotus position, but erect as if his thighs, hips, and spine were at a right angle. His hands hold one of his main tools or symbols, the double-edged axe, with which this noble fighter awards justice. The axe covers his eyes because justice must be fair and objective, and above all, unbiased. On the upper half of his right arm, he wears an ornament band against Eguns, spirits of the dead, decorated with seashells, buzios, and around his neck he wears a chain or necklace in his colors red and white. This figure transmits a feeling of balance, stability, strength, and security. A cloud sky in the background perfectly describes the environment or place where this Orisha exercises his influence. Shango is called the owner of the stones, or Akuta Mayor. He is a patron of thunder and also lightning until he gave it to one of his wives, Iansa or Oya, to whom it now belongs. He makes his voice heard through the sound of thunder, although his power, his axe resides in the stones and is Although his power resides in the stones and is imperturbable as they are, this would appear to give him a certain rigidity, but law or justice, while it must be tolerant, is also rigid in a scale of values where ethics play a leading role. I can't read it and stand like that at the same time. Okay, so according to legends, Shango has 3 wives, Oya, Oba, and Oshun, which reveals his ardor in love and gives us an idea of the psychological features of the spiritual sons he protects as guardian angels. His wives share different times, stages, and passages in life with him, substantiating the belief in the broad protection usually ascribed to his personality. According to popular belief, he was the 4th king of Oyo, old capital of the Yoruba people. He represents judges, and this is what the card means. So basically he represents judges and magistrates, justice in general, and the concept of justice as such: fairness, balance, and equality of conditions, administrative procedures, execution of contracts, bureaucracy, vouchers, documentation, papers in general, examinations, seminars, courses, and conventions. He acts on ideals or the idealization of a thought, and on are conscious above all its ethical and social side. Like the concept of truth, justice does not always agree with what people may sometimes consider to be fair or true. To reach settlement, we must set aside personal interest, selfishness, and passion, because according to one of the great men in history, Socrates, we will have actual knowledge of a concept or something only when we are able to define it, and such definition raises no objection. This status is reached through the search for knowledge, something a master cannot teach, but he may indeed lead his disciples to reflect, to work with their minds, with their truth as their goal. Perfect ending. So this deity represents somebody who basically judges between right and wrong, who judges between, if you could think back to ancient times, or ancient African times, when he would have been the god who determined, I'm trying to think of the right way to say this, bear with me. He would have been the god who determined whether all people were doing what was best for humanity or moving forward in a way that aligned with what humanity considered fair. So this fell in the position of your outside your outside, like the people around you, the people in your external environment. And so it's safe to say that you can experience protection, you can experience justice. If there have been people who've been maybe not too fair to you, you can experience fairness during this time. If there have been people who you haven't been too fair to, this can be a time where they receive their justice. So the next card, again, when we do the Orisha cards, it's a little longer. So we got one more Orisha. So this one is this one is Oba. I'm gonna just pull that up real fast. And this fell in the position of your hopes and your dreams. It says that there, either your hopes or your fears, excuse me. And it says that there's no corresponding card to that. There's no corresponding like traditional tarot card. I didn't do it for the last two because I'm like rushing. I don't like to do readings that are too long. But for this one, I'm going to do the prayer since we're about to close. I'm going to do the prayer that was associated with this deity, especially since this fell in the position of either your hopes or your fears. So this is what it looks like, what the card looks like. I'm just going to read it for you real fast. So it says, a little almost ethereal dancer's figure. She walks on rocks and water, and one can almost hear from far away martial music, keeping a fast pace. In one hand she holds a small sword like a machete, and in the other hand a shield covering part of her head. Her dress is reminiscent of armor where steel gray and pink colors prevail. The latter color is attributed to the Orisha. She was patroness of the river of the same name in Africa and was the first wife of Shango, his faithful companion, very jealous of her husband. There is a legend that Oba, wishing to keep his love and following Oshun's advice and instructions, although others say that Iansa was the advisor, cut off one of her ears, which is why that part of her face is covered by the shield. She cut off one of her ears to prepare a soup that her husband liked very much called karuru, with that special ingredient acting as a kind of evil or as a kind of magic. However, despite her advisor's prediction, when her husband came home and noticed that her head was covered with a white cloth, he was surprised and asked why, and at the same time he asked what they were going to eat. Oba seemed not to hear and went on with her chores. Shango sensed that something unusual was happening and tried to solve the enigma by himself. With a quick movement, he removed the headdress covering her head and saw that one of her ears was missing. Oba was then forced to tell him what had happened. He reacted angrily and with disgust, wherefore he vowed never again to live with her and went instead to live with Iansa. Interpreting this legend, we may see how the Yoruba have illustrated human behavior in a simple, practical way. Oba's self-mutilation would be a defacement of her happiness, closing her ears to what her reasoning and scale of value showed her. Listening instead to the interested advice of a so-called friend, she wants to ingratiate herself to a certain extent to buy love in exchange for something appetizing and digestive, since the object used to attract is edible. Transforming this fact into something material, withdrawing from the spirituality of the love of a couple, she forgets that justice, which is what Shango represents, is incorruptible, not vulnerable to seduction, gifts, or good food. Oba is syncretized with Saint Joan of Arc, Saint Catherine, and Candlemas. For those who don't know, I forgot to mention, the deities in the Orishas are basically usually correspondent to Catholic saints, because this method of spirituality is an adaptation of African spirituality that the slaves used when they were enslaved, and in order to keep their religion, they worship their deities by worshiping the Christian or the Catholic deities that their masters um, worship. So the meaning of this card in particular, which is your hopes or your fears, I'm going to go out on a limb and say this should be more of a fear, is that we should not be, like doing what Oba did, because that's not hot. So, okay, so the meaning of the card is a great fighting spirit and offering, passion and love with our reflection, being a wife, a lover, a faithful girlfriend, a companion, being an excellent housewife, take it as it resonates, if an excellent boyfriend, husband, whatever the case might be, being a good companion, being a good person, a professional that works hard in her field and looks anxiously after others. And here's the prayer. I'm just going to do this prayer because we have one more card left, and so this prayer could close us out as well. It says, Oba, you who for love made an offering of that believed to be most precious for your loved one, do not let any sharp weapon cut off the love of my future, wound my body, or hurt any other. Let me start over. Oba, you who for love made an offering of that believed to be most precious for your loved one, do not let any sharp weapon cut off the love of our future, wound our bodies, or hurt any other living thing. And if perhaps other eyes look at her, hope that my eyes do not cry for her. With your help, we hope to have no fear of our rivals. With your strength, we shall overcome them. No cutting item shall be dangerous to us, and to anyone plotting against us, make him understand that nobody escapes from what he sows. In the fluxes and refluxes of our lives, we shall get happiness, peace, or lies, according to the seed we have sown. We shall fly a certain flag. Nobody shall cut with a sharp knife or skeeth. What love luxuriantly gives us all the time. Protect us, and so that nothing and no one may rate us. Hail and rain, Oba. And this prayer was by Zolrak, which is the person who created this deck. And so in our final outcome here, we have the Earth card. And that card fell in the position. That card fell in the position of, again, our final outcome. And that card represents the World card. It represents expansion in tarot. It represents basically reaching the world. It represents, if you take all the themes of the cards that we pulled today, basically unifying, community, communication, having fun with each other, but also using our community to be able to move forward, sharing our resources, also having justice be served, wrongs being made right, and also just not being a terrible person to other people. The final outcome is saying that we can take over the world, we can reach the world, we can expand, we can, as a community, as humanity. I don't mean like any one race taking over the world, but as humanity, we can expand and thrive and live in a way that just like is harmonious with nature. So the card means travel, it means changes in our body, modifications, operations, or place of residence, moving, home repairs, and or renovations. Search for inner and outer beauty. It means contacts. It means contacts with influential, suitable, and important people. It means doors and paths that open for the consultant. It means favorable outcomes in your ventures and new activities. It means decisions made will be the correct ones, but they must be fast and sincere. Conception, births, and deliveries. That is what your final outcome in this reading today is. Happy Father's Day to all who are here, and to all who will take in these powerful messages from this amazing tarot deck, the Tarot of the Orishas. Thank you guys so much, and have a happy Father's Day.